Now I got Jenny's shit out of the way, it's time to really push another tear out. It may feel like being raped on the outside, it may cause a blood vessel in my forehead to burst, but it has to be done. So here it goes. In October 2019, Dark Fart was released to a public audience that deserved better, and it should have been great. James Cameron co-wrote the story, Deadpool director Tim Miller was directing. Even Linda Hamilton was reprising her iconic role as Sarah Connor, and it would be set after Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Then the feminazi articles started coming out. Then the leaks of the first 5 minutes, and well...
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Who the fuck thought this was a good idea? What crowd was this even marketed to? What crowd was this even marketed to? Yeah, because it makes more sense to pander to people who've never watched or liked the franchise, but like to force their neo-Marxist ideals in everything just for the hell of it. And accusing the main audience of hating strong women in a franchise made successful by males who worshipped Sarah Connor, a strong female character, that was obviously gonna go just about as well as a gay parade in Palestine. But on with the review. The film starts with Sarah Connor and her son John being thankful the other Terminator sequels haven't happened yet. Then another Terminator pops out of nowhere like a fucking jack-in-the-box, killing off John Connor straight away in the beginning like he's fucking Drew Barrymore in Scream. Cut to years later, Bulldyke Insect Grace, played by Mackenzie Davis, comes back through time and kills some innocent coppers. Oh wait, she's not an evil Terminator, so that's good.
What is this, the International Year of Wally Brain or something?
Then evil cut-price T-1000, played by Gabriel Luna, comes through and tries to kill sexy diverse what's-her-face, played by Natalia Reyes, only to run into a shadow of what used to be Sarah Connor, played by a bored-looking Linda Hamilton. She has spent her life looking bored, killing Terminators. Then Bulldyke insert what's-her-face and Connor found out she's been getting locations of other Terminators by mysterious texts. So they plod along, trying to protect sexy bland box ticker and find out who the mysterious texter is.
What a twist!
Fuck it, who cares? It goes pretty much like every other Terminator movie, except shitter, and more fitting as something to be flushed down the shitter. Not only was the ending of Terminator 2 ruined, but everything that made the first two great was vomited up, shat on, had that shit and vomit ingested, only to be vomited up and shat on all over again.
That is a very immature response.
Natalia Reyes fails to make any impressions as replacement human saviour Danny Ramos, and no offence to the actress, I'm sure she's a nice person, but there's nothing to this character that made me care whether she lived or died. She's bland, spends more time cowering, not doing much. Yes, Sarah Connor was scared and vulnerable in the first movie, but her brush with death, losing the man she loved, and the knowledge of the upcoming war against the machines motivated her to become much stronger and seek training in both combat and survival by people who knew how to do this stuff. And when Ramis is finally given moments of empowerment, it's fucking cringe.
Done running. I'm gonna stand and fight! Are we supposed to lie down and die because some machine decided it? Is that our fate? Well, fuck fate. I'm gonna pee my pants!
When Sarah Connor showed an empowering moment in the first Terminator, it was subtle.
Reese! On your feet, soldier!
Even as a replacement to John Connor, Danny Ramos doesn't fucking work. John Connor was a smart-ass streetwise delinquent, disillusioned by his mother's militant upbringing, but as his journey continued, he showed a moral backbone, a sense of responsibility. He attempted to make a killing machine understand the value of human life, while also teaching it how to be more human. Reyes is given nothing to work with as Ramos, except to take over as some feminist saviour that's much more stunninger and braver than the toxic white cis male saviour. And going back to Sarah Connor, she is reduced to a bitter shell of a woman. Remember in Terminator 2, where it seemed like her trauma was causing her to become distant and emotionless, but later she regained her humanity as her journey continued? Well, let's do that all over again by killing John Connor, except they made her incredibly petty towards bland box ticker woman saviour for being the next saviour. Sarah Connor was never like that. She was always willing to die to protect her son, and bringing her back in some disrespectful manner was a total betrayal to her character arc. And not only that, it was pointless to have her back. Her character arc was already complete in Judgment Day. It was the exact reason Linda Hamilton didn't reprise her role in Terminator 3. Why the fuck did she even agree to this? But she and John weren't the only ones murdered. Remember when the Terminator was a ruthless, unfeeling killing machine that could also learn to be human while still being a kick-ass pile of awesomeness? Well, here, the Terminator, once again played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is reduced to a fucking interior decorator.
There was this one customer that came to me. He wanted to have solid colored drapes in a little girl's room. I said, don't do it. You need butterflies, polka dots, balloons.
Oh, and he's in a long-term relationship with someone. How the fuck does that work?
It's so dumb.
How is the wife not questioning her whole life with this machine, posing as a man? Is she not sexually frustrated of not being shagged by him?
I began to understand what I'd taken from you.
Wait, you grew a conscience?
In fact, how could he even grow a conscience? What was it he said in Terminator 2?
I know now why you cry. But it's something I can never do.
Even Arnie's usual charm is pretty much non-existent. Say what you like about Terminator 3 and Jenny's shit, but at least Arnie was still fun and provided some kind of charm to well make both movies less shit. Baldyke insert Grace, played by Mackenzie Davis, is fucking useless, constantly breaking down to get her fix like a junkie. Seriously, what's the point in hiring someone to protect you if they're going to spend the majority resting if they don't get their fix? That's like hiring Ezra Miller to help groom. Tim Miller was practically boasting that she would be the one that would make misogynistic quake in her boots.
I'm gonna pee my pants!
And to top it all off, she is wooden as fuck. Gabriel Luna as Cut Price T-1000 is so forgettable. Not once did I feel any sense of danger from this guy. He's constantly getting beat down in a fight by Baldyke, with fight scenes that look more like a choreographed dance. The actual scrap between the T-800 and T-1000 in the second movie felt more grounded. They were just throwing each other into things, pummeling each other. It was more realistic and it felt more brutal. The first Terminator works because he was an emotionless force of nature. The T-1000 worked because he could mimic social interactions, but you could still sense the lack of humanity in him. But here is basically all the ingredients of what made the others work, put into a blender before being watered down. And I feel bad for Gabriel Luna because he really looks like he's trying, and in the scenes where he has to be creepy, I do see there was some potential for him to play more villains in other much better written projects. The film itself is a CGI laden blur that drags and drags with no thought, no idea what it was trying to do except pander to woke feminists who hated these films. yet felt the need to force their bitterness on something we loved in an effort to hide their lack of creative imagination. And where's James Cameron, one of the greatest movie makers ever, who created the whole fucking thing, was okay with that.
What a 42-carat plonker you really are!
Fuck off, James Cameron. Fuck off, Tim Miller, for sticking the sexist label on men who both grew up and loved both John and Sarah to cover up your failings. The action is boring, the chases fail in comparison to the first two, the characters are dull and monotonous. If I had to say that there was one thing that makes this film even tolerable, then it's nothing. There is nothing in this shit show of a movie I can think of that can make me want to watch this movie without calling Suicide Hotline straight after. Everything in this movie has already been done and executed better in the previous more superior installments. At least with Jenny's shit, it was just a dumb cash-in handled by people with no understanding of what made the first two movies awesome. This is a petty, agenda-pushing, dull, heartless fuck you to everyone who grew up with this franchise. If I had billions, I'd buy every copy of this shit, turn it into a big bonfire before taking a steaming hot shit on its ashes. Terminator Dark Fate, go fuck yourself.
It's over.
Stick to the first two and maybe continue with Sarah Connor Chronicles. And whether you beautiful bastards are Northern, English or not, thanks for watching anyway. But do remember to like and subscribe. But right now, I'm really fucking done and I desperately need to get to the fucking pub.